Envy is the one emotion that everyone denies, but it's the emotion everyone feels. Let's talk about it. Peace and love, family and friends, naysayers, whomever. My name is Leon Wheeler Jr., and this is Master Making Emotion. In today's brief talk, beware of the fragile ego, faces of envy. Dig that. Well, I'm a little under the weather today, but this is a conversation that is it's a must-have. So I'm here, and I want to express a reality to us that that's definitely common. It's definitely common, and I'm pretty sure many of you out there are going to say that this subject matter doesn't apply to me. I'm not envious of anyone. That's not true. Sorry to bust your bubble, but that's not true. Envy is as natural. It's just a part of us, just like our hands and feet. It's just a natural reality that exists. It just is what it is. We envy people for different reasons at different times. However, there's many faces of envy. There's many phases, possibly to be said better, but there's many perceptions or concepts of ways to view this thing called envy. I've been checking it out for a long time and trying to understand it. And I've learned some things, and I'm going to share them. I'm going to share some of my views about this thing called envy. One of the faces of envy that I would like to bring some light to is the little youngster. Let's say a young kid who sees his brother or sister reaching the doorknob, and him or her, his young brother, being too small to reach it, he envies that. He desire to want to do what he see his brother and sister doing, reach the doorknob. Or he see somebody riding a bike, and he inspired to do that. He see that and wants to do that himself. So in that instance, envy, I guess, would be considered positive. It's a again a motivation, a motivator. It's a push. It's a it's a again it's a tool. It's something to make us wish to grow, to be better. That's positive envy, and we all have that in us. We all desire to be better on some level. And as parents, I suggest first and foremost that with your children that you don't tell them that wanting something someone else has does is necessarily bad, because it's not. It's a natural emotion. It's natural to want something someone else have. But when you try to repress that, it twists into I guess we'd call it jealousy. It turns into jealousy. And jealousy, now that's envy that's unnatural. That's unnatural envy. In this pristine position, envy is good. It's not a bad thing. It's just how you apply it. One of the things that also crossed my mind when we're dealing with this, I mentioned the fragile ego, is how the ego can interpret a scenario or situation and have a negative disposition, a negative way of dealing with a scenario or concept. One of the things that I've noticed lately is I've been paying attention to a lot of the people who have access to me, family, so-called friends, whomever, whatever, and I've been paying attention to that, and I also been reflecting upon my own disposition and how I've dealt with people in the past, and something that I know that I want to definitely correct. It's been a mistake, I guess, a fault of mine, and I'm gonna point it out. I'm gonna give you some game. This is something that we could possibly grow from. One of the things that I realize now, when you're dealing with a comrade, with a family member, a friend, or whomever, a lot of times, what I suggest that we don't do is we don't praise another comrade, another friend, or someone that we admire, someone that's only way we can do this is if that individual isn't living. But if the individual is living, we should never praise someone else with a comrade or a friend. We shouldn't do it because the ego is fragile and it's easily to be offended. And you may not never know that you offend this individual by speaking about someone else, and they take that to heart and say to themselves that, I mean, and you don't know this, and that's why envy that turns to jealousy. That's one of the hardest things to recognize. You know what I'm saying? But we have to though. So this is one way to probably sidestep creating that, and I'm sure I've done it because going back, I've again looked at a lot of my relationships with family member, friends, whoever, and I've talked about other individuals, and when I reflect on it, I've seen how it affected them, a negative disposition, a negative reaction, and that's something that we have to pay attention to because that's like I said, that's unnatural envy. That's a form of jealousy, and it turned it into a degree of poison. So what I suggest, if this has taken place, if you just say hypothetically you got a family member or friend that criticize you more than necessary. I mean, they always have something negative to say. It's a great possibility that that has turned into jealousy or rage, and now you have an issue. So if someone criticizes you or say a lot of underhanded things to you, my suggestion is create a distance between you and that person. Don't become offended. You know, be calm. Check your emotions. Do not become emotionally or feel like you're emotionally attacked. Just separate yourself from them. That's the best. That's the best that you can do for them. Allow them to stew in their own poison from a distance. That's the way to safeguard yourself from individuals that harbor ill feelings towards you. Now, as students, well, me considering myself a student of human nature, I'm paying attention to these things, and I'm bringing this to us because I think these talks are important. I think there's information that we can go into to figure out some of the things we've been doing wrong because this is the master channel. This is a channel created for us to master ourselves, to become better astute, to become, masters of our existence, of, our being, our individual beings, and to teach this to our children, to give them heads up, to give them an advantage so that they don't make the same mistakes that we've made. So I'm sharing, I'm studying, and I'm sharing things that I think is important, that I know is important. And this is important. It's important for us to realize that envy is a reality. And we have to accept it that we all are envious. we all look to individuals that have something that we don't have that we would like to have, and nothing is wrong with that as long as it's done in the proper way. As long as it doesn't turn into some form of malice or jealousy or rage. We can't allow that to happen. But it happens every single day. And we all somewhat are guilty of it, I'm sure. So we have to figure out how to combat that. And that's what this channel is about. I want to point out things that's going to make us better. And again, the overall objective is for our children. So I got a few ideas that we could possibly do, we can utilize to combat fighting this, the possibility of this emotion turning bad on us. Just a few things, a few tips. And one of them I would say is be realistic. You have to be realistic. Realize that without a doubt, you're human, and you're going to recognize some things in some other individuals that you want that you don't have, and that's okay. But also realize that just because these individuals seem to have some things that you don't have or won't, realize that they still may be under pressure. They may be struggling with stress, dealing with their own issues, whatever they may be. And keep in mind that these same individuals are going to have haters even on them. So when you realize that the reality is just because they have something that you may crave or would like to have for yourself, realize that they're still human beings and they still got it. They have issues also, just like all of us. I also would like to say, practice gratitude. Gratitude is a positive thing for us to demonstrate in our lives. You know, instead of always paying attention to what you don't have or what somebody else do have, maybe look at the people who have less than what you got. You know, and if you do that, maybe then you can say, "Hey, wow, you know, I got something to be grateful for because I have this, and I don't have to have that." So when you practice gratitude, I mean, it's a relief. It's a, I would like to look at it as somewhat of like an equalizer to balance you out. So you got to practice gratitude. You know, gratitude is a must. Show empathy. You know, we talk about empathy. I talked about empathy quite often. One of the last conversations was basically primarily about empathy. You know, put yourself in the other person's shoes. Look at the individual that's possibly doing really, really good that you admire, that you see and admire, and just think about it. If you were in that person's shoes, wouldn't you want people to be empathetic, you know, towards you? Wouldn't you want people to be happy for you? So put yourself in their shoes and practice empathy. That's a must. And last but not least, I'm going to suggest that learn to admire or to appreciate greatness. When you see something, somebody achieve something that's great, that's phenomenal, that's above average. I mean, and we see it all the time. You know what I'm saying? You know, we really are in a position to see it because of technology has, you know, it's all a fingertip away. You know what I mean? You got social media, you got all these different platforms where you can see people showcasing what they have, things that you don't have. So appreciate greatness. When you see somebody that overcame a scenario similar to what you may be in, appreciate that. You know, respect that. You know what I'm saying? Uh, and allow it to inspire you to be better. These are just a few things that we can do. But again, I want you to keep in mind that This is just a human being emotion. It's just an emotion, it's, and it's real. And we all have that emotion. It's real. We all want something that we don't have that somebody else may have. That's just a part of life. But let's not allow that to turn into jealousy. Let's not allow not having something to allow us to want to do harm to get what the other person have. Let's appreciate the gifts. Again, you got a few tools that you can utilize to do this. There's many faces to envy. And for the most part, I believe that we should focus on the positive aspect of it because it's the positive. It's the I guess the competition that you may have with one of your homeboys or even a rivalry. You know, you see it a lot of times in boxing where uh, Canelo and Crawford just fought, and the way they ended. I mean, they were at odds, you know, for the time that they were in the ring, but they still gracefully was able to accept the reality of the better man won at that particular time, being Crawford, and Carnelo took it a grain of salt. He realized that I can't win all the time. You know, I've been great, and I've been at the top of my game, and I met someone that was more talented than me. You know, and at least for that day. So let's not be haters. Realize that you can take that envy and you can grow from it, and you should. We're not haters. Well, maybe we are. But if you find those individuals like that, again, I'm going to suggest this one more time. Just put some distance between yourself and them. That's all you got to do. Let them deal with this situation. And it don't have to be with malice. So, if I said anything in this brief conversation, I ask that you was able to identify what I ask that you share it. Put it in a comment. Tell me how you deal with envy. Or if you don't deal with envy, tell me how you deal with your ego. Let's talk about this. Let's figure out how we can become better human beings at everything we go at. It's in us. This is master making in motion. And that's what I'm here for. Striving to be the best human being that I can be. Also, I ask that you share this with somebody. If you know of somebody that might be dealing with something similar to this, or you may be able to help and share it with them. That's how I get the channel to grow. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're not a member. That's how the channel grows. And that's what we're here for. Last but not least, I'm going to put a shout out for my two books, Code and Ethics for Up and Coming Players, King and Master in the Making. That's what we're about here. So I leave you as I came. Peace, love, and prosperity. Be the example that you want to see in the world. Simply be.